attack it. I'll just hit record, and if people stream in, people stream in. Yay. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the finale of, this whole thing. Okay, so it is on that side, so if anybody shows up into chat, their chat thing should show up. Okay. So, let's get some music going. What? Oh, hang on. Wrong song. There we go. That's better. I have composed an entire thing. Interesting choice to shuffle to there. There, let's do a different shuffle. There we go. Alright, so this, my friends, is the final Return to Trails VOD. We've made it. We've made it. And even if I don't get Neko or Raxor joining me for the finale, that's okay. Raxor might pop in a bit later. He doesn't usually show up right at the beginning. He's usually a bit later in, so we'll see how this goes. So I just want to reflect. I just want to reflect on the past, multiple months of my life I have spent on this project. Because it has been multiple months. In fact, if you give me a moment, I will even see if I can't tell you exactly when this whole project started. So, I'm just going to sit here, I'm just going to chat for a bit, have some awesome Trails music play, and just going to talk about my thoughts on the series. And give you guys some numbers, too, while we're on the subject. And just kind of look at, how all of this stacks up in the long run. So, and there it is. There's the beautiful noise I was hoping to hear. Okay. So, Trails in the Sky, his first session, showed up on February 8th, 2023. And fitting that this song is the one that was next. So, February 8th, that was when we started the Return to Trails. With the game that this song that's playing right now is from. Sky 1. So, I'm going to go ahead and give you some statistics. I'll let you know what the ranking is, and then we will give you some per game stats. So, overall stats. So, let's talk the series totals first. Let's start there. Here. Yes, I jotted all of this down. Oh, we got a lot to go through. So, the grand total final score or was a grand total of plus 1,032. That was counting up all of the final scores of all 10 games, which, once you put it like that, you realize, oh. The average finals, which also gave us a final average per game final score of about 103. So, pretty good. You know, for a franchise like this, pretty good. Good. That's actually a pretty good, total. If we look at it though from each individual axis, the story total overall ended with plus 893. So that means overall the net score, the franchise's story positives outweighed its negatives by a factor of 893. Or did I say 894? I meant 893. So 893, which of course if we divide that per game and round properly, that leaves us with an average story score of 89. Right. And then total gameplay was 139. Which, if we round properly, means we had an average gameplay score of plus 14 per game. So, yeah, there you go. So, also, our ultimate session count, our grand total for sessions, was 176 sessions, which left us with a positive on average. A positive on average of 5.86 positives per session. That's pretty good. Now, obviously, as we will get into, that varies wildly per game, because averages, right? But let's get to the ranking, because before I really talk about each game's individual score, I obviously want to talk about the rankings. So, now I ranked them based upon their final score. So that's kind of where we're at here. So, I basically took all of the scores and ranked them out, which is funny because the difference in score, or between the bottom two, is 47 points. Yeah, that's quite a jump in quality. But of course, we have to start at the bottom, and that means coming in at number 10 is Cold Steel 2. Oh, poor Cold Steel 2. I really wish I had been kinder to Cold Steel 2, but when one character saves you from rent view status, that kinda goes without saying, So, yeah, that just kinda sucked. It kinda sucked. It kinda sucked. I wish I was kinder to Cold Steel 2, but the problem was the boss design. I'll be honest, the boss design and the lack of plot focus was what really hurt Cold Steel 2. And when I say it really hurt it, the final story score for this thing was plus 8. Which for Trails is pretty bad, as the next entry on the list just literally curb stomps that one out of existence by a factor of, give me a sec, by 27 points. I mean, it's on the story axis. No, what really dragged this one down, though, was the gameplay score being -47. That's what really hurt the score on this one. Again, like I said, I wish I was kinder, but sorry, Cold Steel 2. The more I think about you, the worse you get, in my opinion. Coming in at number 9, Trails from Zero. Again, I wish I was kinder to this one too, but the gameplay is what really dragged this one down. Well, the gameplay and the lack of a good main plot. But what really hurt this one, it was just the lack of good characters, in my opinion. There was too many times where I just felt like the characters just didn't work. It took forever for me it took Randy forever to appeal to me. It took Tio forever to appeal to me. Ellie had her feminazi subplot. I know, I'm a broken record with that at this point, but I don't care. I'm going to say it like it is. Yeah, I didn't care for this one. I wish I did better. I wish I liked this one better, but at the end of the day, I just... Ugh. This is the one that is the closest to just being net neutral for me, and honestly, yeah, that tracks for me. This is the closest I can get to having a net neutral Trails game. Yeah. Next up, coming in at number 8, Sky 3. Again, another one that I wish I was kinder to, and another major bump up as the score difference this time was 34 points higher. So the quality does continue to increase, so that's a good thing at least. But the problem is that Sky 3 also suffers from some pretty bad gameplay. Pretty bad gameplay. Specifically in this one from the boss design. The boss design is what really hurts this one bad. And that kind of sucks, if I'm honest. Dems the brakes and it aches when you get in right down to it. Again, it's one of those things where I wish things had been better. However, don't let the score, the gameplay, the lack of good gameplay and this low ranking fool you. If you go on very easy and experience this game. No, seriously, experience this game. You don't need Zero, okay? You don't need Trails from Zero. Sky 3, you would be actively doing yourself a disservice if you allowed Sky 3 to pass unplayed. Don't sleep on Sky 3. I may not like the gameplay, but that doesn't mean the story is not really, really good. Right? The gameplay may drag this one down, but it's still a good story. Next up. Is this really... Oh my god. It is. Ugh. Ah, well. I was hoping this would be the final song I played, so don't be surprised if you hear this song again, and at the end of this. Anyways. But yeah, no, I said absolutely, don't let the low ranking on this one fool you. This is a game I highly recommend. Play Sky 3. You'd be doing yourself a massive disservice if you sleep on this one, especially if you like the first two Sky games. Speaking of, coming in at number 7, Sky 1. This is the one I hold as the standard, right? This is the one that, in my opinion, you should that the Trail series needs to aim for, right? A score of plus 60. That is where I feel the Trail series is kind of where it should kind of what it should aim for, because this is still a good game. It's got its issues, again, mostly on the gameplay, but for the most part, I actually do find myself enjoying, in this one quite a bit, weirdly enough. And it's mostly the characters that just kind of appeal to me. In fact, the more I think about it, there's a specific thing about Sky 1 that I'm going to adjust in my notes here, because, yeah, I really should just go ahead and do it. But, and we'll talk about that change when I actually when we actually start going through the individual games numbers. But all I will say for now is Sky 1 is definitely a game that I am glad I played, even if it wasn't the one that caught me in regards to becoming a fan of this series. Coming in at number 6. The first game in the series that got held back by its story this time. Cold Steel 4. Let me be blunt. I don't think Cold Steel 4 ended on I don't think the Cold Steels ended on a high note. In fact, let's be blunt, if not for Cold Steel 2, this literally would be the lowest ranking Cold Steel of them all, right? There's a lot that could have been done for Cold Steel 2 to bolster it, but man, did Cold Steel 4 just not work. The whitewashing of Osborn, the blatant fucking padding and wasting the player's goddamn time just continue to frustrate the shit out of me. I really wish this one had been better, because Cold Steel 4 was one that I was kind of hyped for, but then when I went to play it, I found myself putting it down. And then when I reviewed it, I found out why. Vantage Masters isn't fun in this game. I honestly do feel like there's so much grind in this one, which is just weird to think about. And honestly, I feel like you literally could shorten / exercise several sections of this game, and it would substantially improve the pace. There is great stuff on display with Cold Steel 4. The problem is that there's just a lot of garbage as well. And I just... Ugh. I wish Cold Steel 4 had been better. But as it sits, it doesn't manage to be in my top 5. What does get into my top 5, though, is what, in my opinion, is the absolute most overhyped, overblown, and overrated Trails game in the entire franchise. Azure. Let's ignore the spoilery ending. I'm just going to start with that. Let's ignore the spoilery ending. Let's just focus on the fact that this is a much better game than Zero. And it has a substantially better story. Like, it is night and day how much better the story is this time around. Certain elements, such as the ending and Demon World, notwithstanding. But it is definitely a game that I feel should be experienced. Absolutely. Now, if only the fandom would just dial it back a bit on calling this peak trails. We'll get there. Good game, but there's better. Such as number 4, Sky 2. I have no hesitation in saying that this is a much better, well, I should say much better, but I have no hesitation in saying this is a better story than Azure. And I also have no hesitation with saying that this is also a better game than Azure. Sky 2 is a fantastic arc conclusion. In fact, I'll be honest with you, this is easily the best arc conclusion of them all. Reverie is more of an epilogue than an actual arc conclusion, but here we are with the last of the arc conclusions, and this is the highest standard. But it shouldn't really become as a surprise because this is a fantastic game. That beach scene will always stick in my memory. Johnny on Bosch's delivery of the line when he performs Phantom Raid, "I'll run no more." Or Estelle being a wonderful main character and saving Joshua's soul. Or if you prefer, reigniting his soul, is just poetry in motion. Everything about this story just works. With, like, the exception of the fake out at the ending, but even that feels so nitpicky. It has a wonderful villain. It has wonderful set pieces and some of the best moments in the entire franchise. No joke. 3 of my favorite moments in the entire franchise come from this game. 2 of them are very minor, obviously, and one of them requires you to choose Shara as Estelle's travel companion at the beginning of the game. As the line comes from Tita asking if Annalise is Agate's girlfriend. That will never fail to make me laugh. And the other minor one is, of course, Zeke kicking Gilbert's ass, as during the occupation of Genis, which is just fantastic. But at the end of the day, Sky 2 is, in my opinion, the actual standard by which all the other Trails games should be measured. Because the storytelling is exquisite, and it's this kind of storytelling that is why the next 3 games rank as highly as they do, with one exception, and only one exception. However, that exception is not next because the next game is number 3, Cold Steel 1. I love Class 7. And barring some hiccups, this is a fantastic game. It's not the best gameplay in the entire series. Hell, it's not even the best gameplay of the Cold Steels. But this is easily one of my favorite games of all time. There is a reason why this is the one that hooked me. There is a reason why this is the one that caught me and made me a Trails fan. And well, yes, I can safely say that this is not my favorite in the series. I still say this is worthy of the top 3 slot. Hell, I'll even go so far as to say that all 5 of these, of the entirety of this top half, is worth its weight. But Cold Steel 1 and the next 2 games, well, they just sing to me in a way that the rest of the series just doesn't. I would absolutely replay Cold Steel 1 any time. And while I would hesitate to complete the story by playing Cold Steel 2, I won't deny that the appeal of playing it on New Game Plus helps with that assessment. Coming in at number 2, the one that surprised me on more than one occasion, Reverie. I'm just going to go ahead and be honest with you. Best gameplay in the franchise. No question, no hesitation. It's got its issues on the story. Man, does it have issues on the story. As both my number 3 entry and my number 1 beat this thing on the story axis without. I can safely say both of those are beat this one on the story axis. Both my number 1 and number 3 pick beat this one on the story axis substantially. This is the game I will replay for the gameplay. We have found the Trails equivalent of FF7, my friends. And it's this one. Trails into Reverie is a fantastic love letter to the franchise, even if I do think it shits on the SSS way too fucking much. Which is also not helped by the fact that a character assassinates Ilya, but that's beside the point. The point here is, Trails into Reverie is a fantastic game, and it is a must-play, in my opinion. If for no other reason than the gameplay loop. Even if I am still upset that Shara wasn't playable in this one. Pulling a Dragon Ball is a bad idea, Trails. Bad jujus, indeed. But, that aside, like I said, best gameplay in the series, no question. But, there can only be one in top contender, and by process of elimination, you already know what it is. And are you really surprised that my top pick for Trails is Cold Steel 3? Are you really surprised? 'Cause, I'm not. Like, at all. I'm not surprised that Cold Steel 3 got the top honors. Cold Steel 3, he sings to me. The characters are wonderful. The gameplay improvements that were introduced in this title bolstered the next 2 games, no question. I talked about how Reverie was is the top pick in terms of just pure gameplay. Without all of the improvements that Cold Steel 3 handed it, I don't think Reverie would be nearly as solid, but it is. This is how amazing Cold Steel 3 is to me. I adore the characters. New Class 7 is among my favorite characters in all of fiction. They are that well written. The use of the legacy characters is wonderful. The advancement of Tita and Agate's story is fantastic. And yes, it kinda does fall apart in the final chapter. But all of the rest of it is just gold. It may not have a great outro, but man, I will always remember the Crossbell chapter. I will always remember the give it back scene. This is the game that made me give a shit about Crossbell. And I can safely say, now that I've gone through the Crossbell games, that there is no way in hell Zero and Azure would have made me care about Crossbell half as much as this game did. And I mean that sincerely. Cold Steel 3, in my opinion, is the gold standard of how to do a story in this franchise well. You give me great characters, you give me great dramatic elements, and you give me good villains for them to fight. And I am in love with it. And by most people's accounts, the Calvert arc is going to deliver on that just as much. I don't know if I buy that after the Crossbell arc was overhyped, but we will see. Because, obviously, yeah. But now, it's time for the portion of this where I essentially pay homage to the YouTube channel Dead Meat and its kill counts. Because that's the ranking. Now let's get to the number. So now let's make like James A. Janice and get to the numbers, shall we? So, here's how the numbers are going to work. I'm going to talk about the final score. I'm going to talk about the session count, the positives or negatives on average, and then I'm going to be handing out some awards. Starting with, of course, Sky 1, because of course. So, Sky 1 ended with a final score of plus 60. This was accomplished through a plus 57 to story and a plus 3 to gameplay. With a session count of 12, we had a positive on average of 5 positives per session. Good stuff. Okay, I did actually write that one down properly. Cool. So, for those not familiar with the YouTube channel Dead Meat, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, the kill count on Dead Meat has two specific awards. Or it's the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill, because it's a horror franchise thing, and the Dull Machete for lamest kill. Well, I have got 4 categories that I have my equivalent of a Golden Chainsaw Dull Machete. I have Excalibur, the Excalibur Award for Best Party Member, the Excalibur Award for Worst Party Member. This is in terms of more character than gameplay, admittedly, because I yeah, sure, I'm crunching numbers here, but I'm not that deep into the numbers. I would rather not deal with that kind of silliness. There's only so far my silliness is willing to go, you know? So, Excalibur Award for Best Party Member, and Excalibur for Worst Party Member. I am also giving out a Golden Masamune for Best Villain, and a Broken Shambhala for Worst Villain. Gee, I wonder where I got those ideas from. For those that require the subtlety of the sledgehammer, Golden Masamune is based upon the sword that Sephiroth wields, and Broken Shambhala is because I fucking hate the Earthens from Fire Emblem 3 Houses and 3 Hopes. So yeah. Of course, speaking of Fire Emblem 3 Houses, I also have Waifu Awards, which will be the Scarlet Blaze Award for Best Waifu, and the Crimson Flower Award for Worst Waifu. Now, if you're wondering why Crimson Flower, it's because, well, Crimson Flower kinda does Edelgard the most dirty, and, well, duh, right? And then, finally, we have the Jade Dragoon and Toothless Lion Awards, which is for Best and Worst Husbandos, respectfully. So, yeah. So, let's do it. So, I changed my mind, actually, pretty much last minute on this one, but I'm going to give the Excalibur Award for Sky 1 to Tita. I mean, it's a 12-year-old with a minigun. Of course I'm going to give her props. I mean, duh, right? Excalibur Award for Worst Party Member. I mean, do you even have to ask? It goes to Agate. Because in Sky 1, Agate is a child-abusing fucktard. Enough said. I'm giving the Golden Masamune to Weissman. Look, I know he only had one scene as Weissman, but come on. And when you can change the entire course of the franchise with one scene, you're getting the Golden Masamune. Come on. Broken Shambhala for Worst Villain goes to Lawrence, aka Louve. Hey, for literally being completely different than how he would be in Sky 2. Because fucking seriously, what the hell? Scarlet Blaze Award goes to Shara. Sorry, Chloe. But there was just something. Shara honestly just kind of is awesome in every scene she's in. And come on, when you're part of a scene that made me laugh as hard as the frickin' cavalry moment during the final chapter, you know you've got some. You know you deserve the award. Crimson Flower for Worst Waifu is gonna go to Amalthea. I know some people probably figured that was gonna go to Josette, but no, Josette is just kind of there in Sky 1 and not really worth being pissy about, as she hasn't really gone into her simping ways yet. AKA, she hasn't started thinking with her vagina yet. So, there you go. Jade Dragoon for Best Husbando is going to Olivier. Do I even need to explain that? Admittedly, I was tempted to give it to Zin, the big everybody's favorite big teddy bear, Zin, but I just felt like I needed to give it to Olivier because there was a hint of intrigue and mystery to Olivier that just appealed to me. And I liked that. Toothless Lion Award for Worst Husbando is going to go to Sir Not Appearing in This Film, aka Cassius. Look, I get that the whole point was to keep him out of it, but oof. They really went out of their way to muck with him, didn't they? So, yeah, that's Sky 1. Next up, Sky 2. Sky 2 ended with a final score of plus 124. This was accomplished through a plus 101 to story and a plus 23 to gameplay. Hey, depending on how you count it, I admittedly counted on the YouTube more than the Twitch, but if you go by how many Twitch VODs there were, then there was a session count of 11. However, since I split the final 9-hour one into 2 for YouTube, we are going to go with 12 for the final session count of Sky 2, which left us with a positive on average of 10 and a third, 10 and 1/3 positives per session. If we count it by the Twitch VODs, it would be 11.27 positives per session. So, yeah. Excalibur Award, this time, goes to Estelle. I hinted at it earlier during the ranking, but when you can save the very soul of your man, of your significant other, yeah, you're probably going to get the Excalibur Award. Or some award in general. Just saying. Even though it's unfortunately not, that unfortunately does not hold true for Cold Steel 4, but we'll get there. Excalibur Award will go to Kurt, as he only was playable for one dungeon, and he wasn't that great even in that dungeon. Sorry, Kurt. Golden Masamune for A is once again going to go to Weissman. Because he is just a delight every time he's on screen. And hell, even his defeat was poetic. Which is just awesome. Broken Shambhala for worst villain is going to go to Luciola. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Raxor. Also, hi. Exactly, Raxor. Kurt? Who's that? God. But yeah, Broken Shambhala goes to Luciola, as I honestly feel like a lot of her villainy just felt kind of there and tacked on, in all honesty. Once again, the Scarlet Blaze Award for Best Waifu goes to Shara. And once again, the Crimson Flower will go to Uamalthea. Because, good lord. Damn it, Raxor. You and your puns. But yeah. So yeah, Shara and Amalthea for Crimson Flower or for Scarlet Blaze and Crimson Flower respectively, same reasons. Jade Dragoon, once again to Olivier. Honestly, even if I had given it to Zin in Sky 1, Olivier would have gotten it in Sky 2. If for no other reason than his secret getting revealed. Because that was just a poetic as hell scene. Toothless Lion Award for Worst Husbando, though, is going to go to Walter this time. Mostly because, I don't know, Walter just kind of felt like, rawr, I have a chip on my shoulder. older soldier, and I have a beef with Zen, and that makes a little bit of sense, but that's about it. Yeah. Anywho, moving on. Time for Sky 3. So, Sky 3 ended with a final score of plus 40. This is the first time where negatives are going to start dragging the final score down. As Sky 3's final score was accomplished with a plus 64 to story and a negative 24 to gameplay. Again, like I said, experience Sky 3. For the love of God, experience Sky 3. With a session count of 16, that left us with a positive on average of 2.5 positives per session. A little late for this song to chime in, but oh well. I'll give the Excalibur Award for Best Party Member to Reese. Like I said with Estelle in the Sky, with the Sky 2 awards, when you can save the soul of your significant other, that is going to guaranteed to net you at least some kind of award. And you bet your ass, yes, I acknowledge Reese's awesomeness. Excalibur Award for worst party member will go to Richard, as I honestly feel like his guilt trip kinda just was there, and there really wasn't that much to it. The more I think about it, the more I just kind of felt like it was just kind of there. And they don't even really play up the whole he's a member of the 8 Leaves, 1 Blade school. The fact of the matter is I keep forgetting that he's a part of the 8 Leaves school every time I think about it. I never forget that about Cassius. I never forget that about Arios. And I never forget that about Reen. So, how the hell do I keep forgetting that Richard's a part of that school? You know? Hell, I don't ever even forget that Annalise is a member of that. And I forget Annalise exists sometimes. That's kind of bad. Even if he was just an illusion, Golden Masamune for Best Villain, yeah, it's Weissman again. Look, even if it was an illusionary version of Weissman, that was still a pretty damn potent version. Yeah, I agree with that. Annalise really feels like she should make another appearance somewhere. Here, I agree with that wholeheartedly, Raxor. But yeah, anyways, Weissman absolutely sold on him being a great villain, and his final temptation, join the dark side, we have cookies moment, actually kind of works. So, yeah. Broken Shambhala for worst villain, Gilbert. Look, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Gilbert causes plot holes. That's why he's getting the Broken Shambhala. Speaking of doing things dirty, getting done dirty, the story got done dirty by Gilbert. Broken Shambhala for you, jackass. Scarlet Blaze Award. Scarlet Blaze Award for Best Waifu, Estelle. Yeah, I'm not even going to beat around the bush. There's just something about it. I'm just giving Estelle her due, because, honestly, I mean, with Reese getting the Excalibur Award, I just feel like Estelle's nature shining through like it does just works great. Right. I could have given it to Maybelle, but I don't know. Something about the way Estelle is just will charge into literal hell to save her friends just kind of gives her that bit of an edge, you know? Crimson Flower Award for Worst Waifu is going to go to Josette, who could have easily have gotten it in the previous game, in Sky 2, but I just felt like Amalthea really was just too much of a simp, to the point of endangering lives. I mean, for God's sake, she's so much of a goddamn simp, she played into Ren's hands. And Ren barely had to try. That's how badly Amalthea fell into her trap. Oy. Yeah. Josette's biggest problem, though, is in the characterization, as honestly, while Amalthea was just kind of there, every one of Josette's lines had something to do with wanting to fuck Joshua. Now, I use my terms very specifically because I define that very specifically. There's fucking, and then there's lovemaking. Lovemaking has passion to it, there's emotion behind it. Fucking is just mindless sex. Josette is lusting after Joshua, and she thinks that she's in love with him. Take a fucking hint, Josette. He's not into you. Chloe and Annalise have way more of a chance of getting to bang Joshua than you ever will. Moving on. And even then, Annalise isn't even really that interested. Jade Dragoon for Best Husbando, Olivier once again. Shooting the bouquet of roses. Need I say more? Or Toothless Lion Award for Worst Husbando. I was originally going to put Gilbert here and put a different character as put Schwarzritter as the Broken Shambhala, but then I thought about it, and Gilbert really feels like he should be getting that stupid ass award. And besides, Dan doesn't do anything doesn't do enough to discourage his wife from making Agate's life a living fucking hell. Oh, she actually does Agate more dirty than I do, and I'm the one who called him a child-abusing fucktard in Sky 1. That's dumb. Okay, so that's it for Sky 3. Next, Trails from Zero. Trails from Zero ended with a final score of +6. Yeah, a single-digit final score. This was accomplished with a +35 to story and a net -29 to gameplay. Hey, with a session count of 18, that left us with a positive on average of 1 positive every 3 sessions. Ouch. Not the worst average in the series. That's coming. But definitely the worst of the positive averages. Oof. Oh, God. I'll give the Excalibur Award for Best Party Member, even though there's only 6 in the entire game, to Lloyd. Do I even need to say it? Observant, awesome, and some quick-witted, and honestly just is constantly trying to be a good person the whole time. He's nothing but polite. Yes, this is my incredibly unsubtle way of saying that the Excalibur award for worst party member goes to Ellie. Fucking seriously, Ellie, get your feminazi garbage out of... get your head out of your ass and knock it off with the feminazi garbage already. Ugh. I'm... Hang on. One more. It was just one more time of bringing it up, and then I swear we're done. In the meantime, I'll give the Golden Masamune for best villain to Garcia. Are you really surprised I'm giving it to Garcia of all characters? As I honestly feel like Garcia just was the best villain in the entire game. Until he was brainwashed, but let's not get into that. Especially considering the broken Shambhala for worst villain goes to the worst villain in the entire series, in my opinion. Gunter. Look, when you try to be Weissman and fail so hard that nobody ever fucking bothers to name drop you outside of badly written drivel in your sequel, that's saying something, cause good lord. So, actually, now that I know you're here, Axor, I should actually be encouraging you to be involved in the discussion, because that's kind of the point of this. So, question for you, Rex. Or for Trails from Zero, who would you give the Scarlet Blaze Award to? And feel free to speak for any of the other categories, or for any of the Sky Trilogy as well. Sorry. Yeah, dribbled. As I wait several seconds for that. Excalibur is best playable character, Excalibur is worst playable character, and Scarlet Blaze is best waifu. With Crimson Flower being worst waifu. So Excalibur is worst playable character. Ugh. As I try to adjust my chair. So, let me see if I'm understanding your mindset here. You're picking Lloyd for Excalibur, Noelle for Excalibur, Risha for Scarlet Blaze, and I guess Wald would be Toothless Lion because he's a guy. So you're picking Wald for worst husbando. If I'm getting that right. Lloyd best character, Risha waifu, Wald worst. Yeah. Fair enough. And you know what? That is actually fair. I still say Ellie, but that's just because of the feminazi subplot. I know, I keep bringing that up. I swear we're only going to have to talk about it one more time. In one more game, and then I'll shut up about it. No, for me though, Scarlet Blaze Award goes to Commander Bales. I kind of forgot Noelle was even a frickin' playable character in this one, if I'm honest. And while I was tempted to give it to Fran, and for just how awesomely helpful she was, as Commander Bales just kind of had this presence to her the entire time. Then again, that could be my propensity for strong women. Yeah, I can't hate her either. That's why she was in consideration for the Scarlet Blaze Award. Or, you know? However, Crimson Flower Award for Worst Waifu, who for me, Grace. Grace really rubbed me the wrong way in Trails from Zero. As I really did not like her all that much. As honestly, it just kind of felt like she was she was more about the fame than she was about being a good person. And I know it's not her job to be a good person, but man, that just, ugh. She literally starts by slandering the SSS, for God's sakes. In my opinion, Grace is the exact opposite of Fran. And I can't bring myself to like her. You didn't like Cecile? I thought about Cecile, but then I was like, eh. She didn't really piss me off as much as anyone else did. My pick for J Dragoon for the best husbando, though, was Chief Sergei. He was just awesome the entire time. And I loved that he wasn't a helicopter boss. He kind of let the SSS just figure things out for themselves, and I liked that. And the fact that he had the SSS's back, heck, through thick and thin, also helped with that assessment. Not gonna lie. The Toothless Lion Award, though, for Zero, Dudley. I know Wald kind of got stuck in your craw, Raxor, but Dudley was the one that stuck in my craw the most. Ghost. Dude was literally so fucking full of himself that he was basically told, almost word for word, filling in the SSS will speed up your investigation. By Chief Sergei, someone he's supposed to respect. And the fucker still hesitated to give the SSS info. Yeah, I didn't like Dudley. I felt like he was full of shit. He definitely didn't have the flushing out he would have in both Azure and Reverie. So, speaking of Azure, let's get to that, shall we? Yeah, the Anti-Lloyd. But it felt like they were forcing Dudley to be the Anti-Lloyd. That was kind of the problem. Instead of it being natural, you know? He was less Saren and more, or Kai Lang, if you understand that distinction. So, Azure ended with a final score of plus 82. This was accomplished through a plus 90 to story and a negative 8 to gameplay. Hey, with a session count out of 17, that left us with a positive on average of 4.82 positives per session. Excalibur, I'll just go ahead and speed this up. Excalibur and Excalibur awards are once again Lloyd and Ellie respectfully. Lloyd continues to be awesome, and Ellie continues to be awful. Awful. Continuing to try to appeal to Belle after she point blank tells us that no, really, she's evil. Get a goddamn clue, Ellie. Lloyd, by contrast, literally stared the Grulshritter in the face and said, "If you threaten Kia, I'm coming after you." That even shocked Wazzy. Wazzy just kind of looked at him and was like, huh. Well, shit. Though, to be fair with the Excalibur Award, oh god, there were great picks this time. Noelle was better. Wazzy was amazing. Randy's growth was just insane. I could have picked any of them, really, and I could have easily have justified it. But I went with Lloyd because, again, he saved the soul of his daughter. I am, of course, referring to Kia. Yeah. He literally stopped Kia from committing suicide. That's not an exaggeration. That is not hyperbole. Lloyd talked Kia down from suicide. Holy shit. I'm giving the Golden Masamune for Best Villain to Sigmund. I actually think Sigmund was an amazing foil for Randy, and one of the most intimidating villains in the series up to this point. Even Garcia couldn't cut that intimidating of a figure. Hot damn! Sigmund was awesome. With special mention to Shirley because Shirley was just fucking hilarious. And led to one of the first times I ever gave the Devil May Cry effect. The first time I gave the Devil May Cry effect positive in this game. In this series. I mean, Sigmund's sitting there intimidating the shit out of us. And she's just there eating her parfait. Nom 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 nom. And then asks for another. Yeah. Moving on. Broken Shambhala for worst villain is going to go to Demon Wald. Yeah, I can understand why Wald would get on your bad side, but Wald didn't get on my bad side until he started doing drugs. Go figure. You couldn't stand her, huh? Understandable. I thought she was funny. But then again, when you take a feminazi down a peg, well, I tend to be a little more forgiving of your craziness. Anyways. But yeah, the Demon Wald shit just kind of pissed me off. So there it is. Oh, and speaking of your Scarlet Blaze for Hero Raxor, I gave the Scarlet Blaze Award in Azure to Risha. I adore Risha's growth in this game. I absolutely adore her growth. And holy hot damn, yeah. Actually, let me check something over here. Let's not do that. Let's do that. Another last minute change, but I am gonna stand behind that. Because, yeah. But yeah, Risha was just awesome, and I absolutely freaking adored her growth. And I also loved that the SSS were just looked at each other when they found out that Risha was Yin, and just looked at each other and said, so yeah, we're all in agreement we should keep quiet about this, right? And they pretty much all agreed, yeah, we should probably keep quiet about this. Because exposing Risha is only going to fuck her over. Keep in mind, Sal figured out that Risha was Yin without the SSS saying a thing. So, yeah. Sal was a manipulative asshole. Well, not the SSS being dickwads. Now, if only Rooster Teeth had learned had done it like that instead of the way they did it. She might be the world's worst assassin, but she's one hell of a dancer. And certainly a better romantic pairing for Lloyd than Ellie ever will be. I'd sooner pair Lloyd up with Ilya than Ellie, though. So there's that. Speaking of just annoying irritants, Crimson Flower for worst waifu in Azure is going to Sully. I really don't like how she is one of the two people that keep perpetuating this the Lloyd is a perv subplot. I mentioned I would only bring it up once more, and here it is, because good lord do I fucking hate it. Fuck off, Sully, and just stop being a thing. Jade Dragoon, who this time around went to Randy. I really don't feel like I need to explain this one. And dude was just awesome all the way through and vulnerable in just the right ways. And oh yeah, that scene where he goes after the red constellation on the mountain path. Oh, that is beautiful. That whole scene is just awesome. Hell yeah. Toothless Lion Award for Worst Husbando is going to go to Campanella for giving me a crap boss fight and just being generally just not a very good enemy in general. So that's it for Azure. Moving right along now to Cold Steel 1. Cold Steel 1 ended with a final score of plus 185, accomplished with a final with plus 144 to story and plus 41 to gameplay. With a session count of 23, we had a positive on average of 8.04 positives per session. Very nice. I decided to give the Excalibur Award for Best His Party Member to Reen, mostly as a Reen's haters can kiss my ass move. but I genuinely feel like he is a great protagonist in the first game. Hell, he's a good protagonist in all of the games that he's featured in, if I'm honest. Even if he does lose a couple of points in a couple of places. He says, so there's that. Excalibur Award for worst, and for worst, first party member goes to Machias. Mostly because I felt like he was a bit more of a dick. More of a dick than Eustace was in the first game, and it really just rubbed me the wrong way. Hey, and that was mostly just because as I thought about it in regards to Cold Steel 2, so there's that. So there was that. I'm giving the Golden Masamune for best villain. Excuse me. I'm giving the Golden Masamune for best villain to C, aka Crow. Spoilers. Because yeah, I just feel like a lot out of C's mentality just kind of works in a lot of ways. Jeez. Broken Shambhala for worst villain is Gideon. Because once it's revealed that he's the dude that Sigmund murderinated in Azure, you realize just how useless to the overall narrative Gideon really was. And it kind of sucks. Excuse me. Okay. I'm curious. Before I even say it, Rexor, I'm curious if you can guess who I'm giving the Scarlet Blaze to. For Cold Steel 1. It should be pretty obvious, given that I have been a broken record about how much I adore the character, so. She does indeed. Laura S. Arcade. Because yes, I am a Laura simp. I will acknowledge that, damn it. Okay, same question, but with the Crimson Flower Award, worst waifu. Actually, that's true. All four of them have an S in their name. Okay, that's funny. That is funny. Damn it, I didn't even think of that. Oh, God. Elise or Alphen? Okay. Close, but no. As much as I hate Elise, there's another character that actually pissed me off more in Cold Steel 1. Another character that I spent so much time in this franchise bitching about. In fact, it was the other one you were like, wait, she got a positive in Reverie? What? No. Never a negative for Elisa. The Icy Bitch. Yeah, Claire. Crimson Flower Award for worst waifu in Cold Steel 1 is easily Claire. Good lord. Because of line mentality, we should let people die. Well, the noble faction ties her hands with red tape so that she can't save people. Even my frames took a fucking hit from how stupid that was. Good lord! God, I fucking hated that scene. Ugh. I ranted so hard at that scene. And then there was her predicting that Class 7 was gonna drift apart. Let's ignore the fact that most of Cold Steel's Hills 2, 3, and 4 are spent gathering Class 7. Ooh, yeah, I hated Claire. Her with a burning passion. J Dragoon, who for best husbando is going to go to Gaius, because I absolutely love Gaius. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I like Gaius. Toothless Lion Award goes to Patrick, as this is where he earned that mantra. Yep, Windman, and got my J Dragoon award. But then again, considering that there's another Windman that got that the husbando thing was named after, well, it kind of fits because there's another spear wielder from a different game that actually gave me this award's name, the award's name. So yeah, Cold Steel 1's Toothless Lion is definitely going to Patrick because he is a classist, racist, sexist bastard in Cold Steel 1. Like I said, getting better later does not excuse it. So, that's it for Cold Steel 1. Excuse me, for Cold Steel 1. Let's move on to Cold Steel 2. So, oh yeah, this is where we end with a net negative. This is the only game in the series that ended with a net negative. Net negative 39 to be precise, accomplished with a plus 8 to story and a minus 47 to gameplay. With a session count of 14, that left us with a negative on average of 2.78 negatives per session. Ouch, is all I gotta say to that. I'm giving the Excalibur Award in Cold Steel 2 to Reen, as I honestly feel like his growth just continues to be awesome, even into Cold Steel 2, though I was not fully starved for options on this one. Excalibur Award for worst first party member goes to Eustace. Honestly, the guilt trip shit with him was just a bit too much, and I really feel like if they were going to go the whole route of making Duke Alpareo one of the main villains we take down, the takedown really should have been way more cathartic. I'm giving the Golden Masamune for best villain to Rufus, as his reveal as the primary Iron Blood, spoilers, was fantastic and well handled. And I love how he managed to, and I love the reaction that the Broken Shambhala, the winner of the Broken Shambhala Award, had to him saying, as the commoners would put it, in your dreams. Because the Broken Shambhala Award is going to Duke Cayenne. Dude's plans were doomed to fail, and he was too blinded by his own ambition to see that he was a paint thinner guzzling moron. Scarlet Blaze Award once again goes to Laura, just for being awesome. Continuing to be awesome. And Crimson Flower Award goes to Duvalie for driving me up a goddamn wall. Yeah, Vita was also using him too. That's very true. So yeah, Duvalie just annoyed the piss out of me. I can't stand her. And the J Dragoon and Toothless Lion Awards once again go to Gaius and Patrick, respectfully. Actually, much for the same reasons, except for the fact that with Patrick, there was just no build-up to him supposedly being one of the good guys all along. And honestly, I just felt like Patrick's involvement in Cold Steel 2's story was just tepid at best. Never mind the fact that the Order of the Lion literally got disbanded practically as soon as it was formed. I roll my eyes, sigh, and move on. Next up, Cold Steel 3. Our gold standard. Our the golden child of all of end of the entire Trail series. Ended with a final score of plus 257, accomplished with a plus 208 to story and a plus 49 to gameplay. With a session count of 24, that left us with a positive on average of 10.71 positives per session. Hell yeah. So, do I even need to say who gets the Excalibur Award this time? I'm curious. I'm curious if you can guess it, Raxor. Before I even say their name. Now you're just trolling me. Muse. Hey, for Excalibur. Sorry, but no, she got Excalibur. Or, I'm afraid. Fucking Muse. Ugh. Yuna. It was Yuna. Yuna is my favorite Trails character. And this game is absolutely why. The Give It Back scene is brilliant, breathtaking, and was just yes! All of the yes. And for the record, Laura gets the Scarlet Blaze. For incredibly obvious reasons. Anyways. But yeah, and then like I said, Muse got the Excalibur Award, as I honestly feel like her obsession with Reen just kind of took up way too much of her dialogue. And it kind of annoyed me. Since this is before he was whitewashed, I'm giving the Golden Masamune for Best Villain to Osborne. This is where I feel like he is the most well-written. Hidden and intimidating. And then Cold Steel 4 ruined him, but let's not get into that yet. It. Broken Shambhala for worst villain will go to Campanella because I hated fighting him. Ugh. Scarlet Blaze, like I said, goes to Laura, and Crimson Flower once again goes to Duvalie. She just annoys me. I don't have a better way to put that. Well, here's a twist on the formula. J Dragoon for Best Husbando this time goes to Patrick. Yes! This 2 games where he gets the Toothless Lion Award, and now he's moving on up to the J Dragoon position. His growth is fantastic. I adore how much Patrick matured between Cold Steels 2 and 3. Holy shit. Oh my god, the apology to Gaius just cemented that. I stood in awe of how much I loved Patrick in Cold Steel 3. How much I felt like Patrick was amazing. And how much I just wish my frames would stop dropping. I just adore all of that. Yes. Oh. I'm just... Yeah. Toothless Lion for worst husbando easily goes to Marquis Ballad, aka the bald, fat, fuckhead version of Patrick. Of Cold Steel 1 and 2 Patrick. The fucking prick. Complete with even calling a frickin' man from Nord a frickin' barbarian. Oh. And by the way, yeah, that was what actually cemented Patrick for the J Dragoon. How dare you? Yeah. Honestly, if Cassius wasn't honestly kind of a bleh character in Sky 1, I probably would have given it to Danon. I probably should, in all honesty, just change my mind and give it to him, but whatever. But yeah, Marquis Ballad sucked. Hooked. He sucks. Hooks. That's it. Alright, next up, Cold Steel 4. Cold Steel 4 ended with a final score of plus 80. 80, which was accomplished with a plus 53 to story and a plus 27 to gameplay. With a session count of 21, we had a positive on average of 3.81 positives per session. Even if this was one of the more disappointing games in the entire series. Despite some hiccups, I am once again going to give the Excalibur Award to Yuna, as I still feel it is awesome that she managed to kick Class 7 out of their complacency. No matter how much I still feel that is character assassination. Excalibur Award, though, for worst party member goes to Reen. The fact that he continues to throw his classmates and students under the bus like an idiot honestly just kind of feels terrible, and the way he's presented through a lot of Cold Steel 4 just feels wrong to me. Never mind the fact that he honestly just kind of feels like he's just there half the time. Not great. Hate. I'll give the Golden Masamune for best villain to Aryan Road. as honestly her motivations and entire way of conducting herself makes perfect sense. Hell, even Duvalie questioning her was kind of done in a very well done way, and her reactions to Duvalie were just poetic. And were just poetic and awesome, in my opinion. Broken Shambhala for worst villain, do you even have to ask? Osborn. The whitewashing with Osborn just killed a lot of my enjoyment of Cold Steel 4's story. Good lord, I hated it. Scarlet Blaze Haze for Best Waifu has a whole lot of options this time around. But yeah, being the Laura simp that I am, it goes to Laura again. But again, if you wanted to argue for Elisa or not her. If you wanted to argue for Elisa or Emma or hell, even Duvalie, I wouldn't be able to argue with that because all three of them are actually fantastic characters. Never mind Fee, never mind Sarah. Hell, even Estelle had a couple of moments there. Here. Crimson Flower for worst waifu easily goes to Claire. Here, because good lord woman, why are you still sucking Osborn's whitewashed dick? Jade Dragoon for Best Husbando once again goes to Patrick, because, hey, like I said, when you can save the soul of a friend, that's worthy of some points. And I appreciate that. Toothless Lion Award will go to Lecter for the exact same reason. Reasons as Claire. Seriously, why are you still working for Osborn? And that is it for Cold Steel 4. And finally, Reverie. Reverie had the most balanced score of them all, ending with a final score of plus 237, accomplished with plus 133 to story and plus 104 to gameplay, the highest gameplay of the entire series. Absolutely. And thanks to Reverie only taking me 19 sessions to get through, that left us with the highest. Actually, I think, is it regardless? Hang on, let me double check. Yep, it is literally that. It literally is. That left us with the highest positive per session average of the entire franchise at 12.47 positives per session. Hell yeah. I'm going to give the Excalibur Award for Best Party Member to Rufus. His growth was fantastic throughout the entirety of it, and I absolutely love the fact that, yes, this is awesome. That his growth is just awesome. Excalibur Award for Worst Party Member, though, is going to go to Lloyd, mostly because the writing too often turned him into a whiny bitch. Ooh, I didn't like that. Something tells me I should wrap this up soon. I'm gonna give the Golden Masamune for Best Villain to Ishmael Gareen for being a great he'd peek into what giving into the dark side would actually look like. I actually like that, believe it or not. Broken Shambhala for worst villain will go to Fake Rufus for being to Fake Rufus, aka Renak. Heck, thanks for that name, by the way, Axor. Or it's a fake. But yeah, Fake Rufus was a frickin' Gary Stew, and frankly, it just annoyed the piss out of me. Scarlet Blaze Award for best is waifu. You're probably expecting me to say Laura once again. I can't. Not when Risha is here and it's returning the same Ilya, the same word, the same encouragement speech from Ilya that Lloyd gave her in Azure. I love Risha in this. There's a reason why she kind of became one of my main party members pretty quickly within this. Crimson Flower for worst waifu will go to Ilya for trying to justify her fucking character assassination. That's all I can say to that. And finally, the last two categories. I'm gonna give the Jade Dragoon for Best Husbando to Makarov. I know this may seem a little weird, but man, the way he settled that whole issue with Mary was just amazingly awesome. And yes, all of the yes, that was great, no question about it. I hope Mary enjoys being Mint's aunt. I really do. I hope those two are freaking happy together, because fuck yeah. Toothless Lion Award for Worst Husbando goes to Olivier for putting a baby in Shara, so that's the fucking excuse of why I'm not able to have Shara whip monsters in the Reverie Corridor. Yes, I can be petty when I want to be. Why do you ask? Alright. Give me a sec to find in the sun. I'm going to end this one on. Oh, that was a lot. I gotta be honest here, as I start setting up for ending this. I'm not gonna lie, this has been a fun ride. It really has been. From February 8th to now, which is... yeah, it's been 9 months. 9 months is how long this project has gone on. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of feel accomplished. Oh! Now, one last thing to talk about right here at the end, and that is, am I looking forward to Trails Through Daybreak? Honestly, yes. After Reverie was so good, I actually do want to play the Kuros now. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of that actually has to do with those three, the Daydream Beyond the Reverie back, at the end of the post game of Reverie, because yeah, all three of those were fantastic. The Another Hot Springs Paradise was great. An Unconventional Student was just, oh hell yeah. And Forward Sword in Hand, it was actually kind of a nice, examination of the characters. So, yeah. God. It feels weird. I'm not gonna lie to you. It feels weird to be here at the end. Because I'm actually kind of... It feels weird that I'm at the end of this. Because this project just seemed so intimidating when I first took it on, right? Because 10 long ass RPGs. But at the end of it, I do feel accomplished. I have made it to the end of reviewing 10 of the longest games that, like honestly, I almost feel like this might actually be the longest marathon I ever end up having to do. Because I don't even think a Fire Emblem marathon would match this. I don't. And that's for one very simple reason. Because I don't... Well, for one thing, I would have to leave out 3 of the games. Just as, one aside. And possibly I would have to leave out 3 other ones. Too. So so possibly have to leave out 6 games in the entire series. Sadly. Not to mention the fact that I would, although I would also have to get my hands on 2 other ones, and that's going to be good luck to me, because that's going to be a whole lot of when they show up at specific spots, get them. But yeah. I think the only marathon type I could see taking longer than this, taking as long if not longer than this, would maybe be a Final Fantasy marathon, and that's just because, and that would just be because I'd be having to slog through, some of the lesser entries in the series. I think at the end of the day, I can safely say FF11 and 14. I mean, yeah, if I included those. Although, what's funny is that FF14 would not be as in-depth as the Lore Runner went in there. And those 2 probably would be excluded if I'm honest. But that's just because I'm not an MMO guy. And I'm the wrong person to review an MMO. Oof. Absolutely wrong person to review an MMO. But, yeah. God. Oh, come on, frames. There we go. God, my frames are being annoying today. Anyways, but yeah. You know, it's funny because with the Fire Emblem series, it would just be a question of would it take me 7 months to get through the rest of the series, you know, minus those 3 games, which would be which would have to exclude like all of the Japan exclusive ones, right? Because there would be literally be three on the GBA, technically 5 on the Switch. It's because 3 Houses, 3 Hopes, Warriors 1, and an FE 1, and 5 if we include fucking Tokyo Mirage Sessions. And then there would be 1 on the GameCube, 1 on the Wii, and yeah. I suppose I could, but I kind of prefer to play them as legit as I can. Because I absolutely could emulate them if I found the ROMs and everything. But, I don't know. At one point, maybe I will, just to kind of see. But I'm gonna go ahead and be honest. There is one that I will just go ahead and veto right now. Oh, and that is Genealogy of the Holy War. I know that's gonna get me some ripe anger, but I'm sorry. Genealogy of the Holy War is the cure for insomnia. People say that Echoes has bad map design. Oh God. Give me Echoes' map design any day of the week as opposed to frickin' Genealogy's goddamn map design. Ugh. Or lack thereof. Those maps are just way too big. But, regardless, I think that's going to do it for me. So what is coming next? I honestly don't know. I am going to probably try to stream something on Monday, even though I'm working like all the way through the weekend. But regardless, as much as this was a short stream today, I do think I am going to chop off. It has been my honor and my privilege. Oh, hang on. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been my honor and privilege to review the entirety of the Trails series for you. And I absolutely hope you have enjoyed my thoughts on this long-ass frickin' thing. I want to thank all of the people who have joined me for this journey. And I want to thank all of the people watching, either live or on the VODs, for indulging me on this quest through Zemuria. Blue Wolf Alex of the Lore Walkers signing out. Have a good one. See you in the next. See you for whatever's next. I don't even know yet.